Good morning and welcome to Morocco. Our final day in Morocco. I've just woken up, you can probably see I'm a bit sleepy. And this is Marrakech at about, was it 8:30 in the morning, and it's still only getting light. So we're quite close to the train station here. And this is just off the main road. The main road's just over there. And you might be able to see behind me, up here, you might just be able to make out some of the Atlas Mountains that we were in the other day. No snow on them at the moment, but anyway, I left you, I don't remember when I left you now, it's a long time ago, a couple of days ago, when we were in, still up at the village. I think we just had the hammam. I just want to get this in, because there's see the flags, and Moroccan, why there's an American flag, maybe, I had no idea, but it's a Moroccan flag as well. One thing I just thought of actually, a lot that the king, Mohammed, I think it's Mohammed VI that's in power now here in Morocco. You see photos of him everywhere. You even get, I mean, in all the hotel lobbies, shops, windows and things like that, there's pictures of him and his children. And also even in their front of their cars as they're going along. I noticed it coming down from the mountains yesterday, several of the cars having photos of the king prominently placed in the window. Yeah, that's what they think of him, and why not? Anyway, yes, left you in up in the hills. A nice meal that evening. I must say that the food that we had up at that riad, either within the riad or the lunches that we had when we were out walking for the 3 days, was absolutely beautiful. And the food generally, because it is so fresh, it's freshly produced, but it's obviously fresh produce as well, vegetables, and fruit, and chicken and lamb a lot of the time, but very nicely cooked, and you know that it's really good stuff. And all of us have said our tummies have been all right. You sort of half expect maybe to get a bit of deli belly or whatever, but I think we've all been pretty good. You have to be a bit careful with the water, but you know, we survived. But that particular night, one of the things about being up in the mountains is such clear, cool air, fresh air as well. We really noticed that. Was that particular night, the stars were absolutely unbelievable. We all sort of went up on the terrace before we went to bed, and I have never seen, I'm something I've always been interested in, astronomy and looking up at the stars, and so I noticed these things, and believe me, I'd never seen anything like it. Absolutely unbelievable. We were all sort of transfixed. I stood there for as long as I possibly could in the cold before I got sort of made to go inside, because I just couldn't sort of take it any longer. But the shooting stars, I mean Orion, if anyone who knows this type of thing, looked incredible, and Sirius, I've never seen it looking so bright. It's the brightest star in the sky, yeah. But it just sort of catching your eye because it was just sort of glinting so much. So yesterday, a short walk down from the riad back down to Anmita, where our mule took all of our gear once again. It's great. It's great seeing the mules. They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. Don't care, just sort of staying there, very stoic sort of creatures, treated well. Very much treated well. Well, they're important beasts, especially up there. When, as I said before, there's no transport of really any time. We did actually hear one car, the one car in the village of 1,600 people. That's it. You know, it stood out, and I actually heard one aeroplane, and that was it. Because there's not even contrails, and no planes actually cross over that area either. So that's another reason why the sky is quite so clear. So as I said, we walked down through the valley, a completely different scenario to what it was the other day. The same route, but it looked just so different, because when we walked up, obviously there was all that snow, you know, like foot deep of snow or thereabouts. Now it's all gone, or very, very nearly all gone. I don't really see anything up on the mountains now, except for the very high tops and some of the higher peaks around that Mount Toubkal, which is the highest peak in Morocco. You can see it around sometimes. Those higher mountains have still got the snow on, but everywhere else it's pretty much gone, and now we're back to this sort of 25 degrees of heat. Walked back, and then a long journey back down into Marrakech yesterday. Can get a bit boring coming over the Tizi Tishka Pass, but that's one hell of an engineering project what they're doing. They're rebuilding the road and making it a better road. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'll leave that for you. But yesterday we got back here sort of late afternoon, and we all decided to wander down. It was very nice actually. We all decided to walk down together. You know, do one of those things that you do. It's about a 40-minute walk, and we all decided to eat together. That gives you an indication of how well the group have got on, the 14 of us, and we're from all over the place. There's a couple of ladies from Vancouver. I know Bonnie is 70. I don't know how old Heather is. Retired nurses. So, and then you've got other people, you've got teachers, and you've got 3 younger guys who are sort of in their late 30s, 40s. So there's quite a cross-section of people, but everyone's got on really, really well. One of those things that seems to happen on these trips. The same thing happened when I was in Jordan 3 years ago. So the 14 of us decided to have a group meal with Mohammed, the guide. Gave him a little presentation. We'd had a collection for him. I think he was rather touched by that. We all went down into the square and did our own separate things. I was in the square the other day after it had been raining, and it wasn't the best time to see it, but yesterday, Saturday evening, in the square, everybody's out, everything's going on, and it is one of those experiences. There's just stuff going on everywhere, people hassling you as well, which does get on your nerves a little bit, trying to get you to eat, but the food does look good, the little cafes and that they've got there. But all the entertainment, all the drummers, dancers, snake charmers, oh yeah, people sort of doing sort of acrobatic type of things, just a general mayhem, I suppose, and the general hubbub of what is one of the most famous places in the world, I suppose, and a place that I'm very pleased to come back to. Very pleased to have been here in the first place. Today we got a longish day. We don't fly home until this evening, so we've got a free day pretty much here in Marrakech. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Either go to Yves Saint Laurent's gardens, but I think that might be a bit busy. So I may well go to some of the tombs, the Saadi tombs down there, but we will be walking down into the city once again on a lovely day and just soaking it up all the time that we can. It's been a good trip. We've all said that. We were talking about it last night. We actually found a place to have a beer, the first beer I'd had for 6 days, because there's just not much alcohol around, and we haven't particularly sought it out, but up in the hills there certainly isn't any. I think that's about the longest I've ever been without alcohol for as long as I can remember. Still doesn't do you any harm, does it? So yeah, a great trip. Sad to see a great country, I must say. I mean, whether I come back to Marrakech itself, I'm not sure. I've done it, I've seen it, I've experienced it in all the sort of different climates, I suppose, different times of the day and night, but the rest of the country I'd certainly like to explore, and the mountains really did it for me. Maybe that's the thing, it took the edge a little bit off of what I thought of Marrakech, because the mountains were just so good, so peaceful, such a wonderful scenery, and we experienced all that snow and the snow melt and everything, which added, as I'll keep going on about that little extra dimension as well. So there you go, it's goodbye from Marrakech, goodbye from Morocco. I wonder where's next. Who knows? I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.